Worship our Maker. Let's just lift up our hands this morning. Let's exalt His holy name. He's worthy to be praised. It's the reason why we are here. Here we are, lifting our hands to you.
Because He deserves all our praise. It's not about what we have done or what we know how to do. It's just by His grace. It's the reason why we are here. Let's just magnify His holy name. Lord, we worship You. We exalt Your name, O Lord. Oh yes, Lord. He said He has made the praises of His people. That is what He wants us to do this morning. He just wants us to give Him thanks. He wants us to praise Him from the depth of our heart. Lord, we worship You this morning. We exalt Your majesty.
And exalt You.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Is anyone excited this morning?
Yes.
Are you happy to be here? Are you indeed happy? Doesn't look like you're happy this morning. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. The Lord reigns.
Yes.
And the heads rejoice. And the people be glad. That the people are glad. Yes, our Lord reigns. Amen. The Lord reigns. The Lord reigns. The Lord reigns. The Lord reigns. Let the earth rejoice. Let the earth rejoice. Let the earth rejoice. Let the people be glad. The Lord reigns. Yes, Lord
There is
Jesus.
none like you.
Just love him this morning. Just open your heart to him this morning.
There is none to be
Yes,
compared to
Lord.
you. No, there is none
Yes,
to be
Lord.
compared to thee. You
Yes,
are the only
Lord.
living God. The only wise and mighty God. Hallelujah. We praise you, Lord. We lift you high.
To the great I this morning. I would like us to sing it from the depths of our heart. Oh yes, Lord, to the
let's just worship this God.
Yes.
Let's just honor Him. Let's just give Him glory. Let's give Him praise. Let's give Him all adoration. For every other ground is a single sound. Jesus is the Son of God. Our hope and our mainstay. Our support and our helper. Our defender and our shield. Our buckler and the lifter of our heads. Our provider, our protection, the lover of our souls. Our vision and our helper. This Jesus, this risen Jesus.
That was slain.
Father, we love you so much. He laid His life on the cross that we may not see corruption. Let's just worship Him. He is beautiful.
You have been on my salvation. You are the son that I sent you.
He is marvelous. He is compassionate.
We praise you, Lord.
He is loving. He is incomparable. He is so awesome. The same yesterday and the same forever in glory. He knows what it is. Our God is in heaven and He has called us a place. He has chosen you and I to be called by His name. Let's just worship Him.
You have taken my sin for us. You put your righteousness coat on me. Thank you, Jesus.
Glory to your name, Lord. We give you all praise, Jehovah.
Thank you, Jesus, for
Lift up your name, O Lord God.
we love you.
Lord, indeed, every other
We love you,
ground
Jesus.
they will sing.
Yes, Lord. We love
You
you.
are alone,
We love you.
and by yourself the solid rock,
Jesus.
the only dependable ally,
Yes.
our King and our Maker,
Yes.
our sufficiency, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises. Lord, who is wonderful and has done more wonderful things than any man can number. We bow before you this
Yes,
morning,
we love you, Lord.
and we declare our love for you.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord.
Blessed be the name forevermore.
Amen.
In Jesus' perfect name we have prayed.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
The Lord bless you. The Lord cause His face to shine upon you today.
Amen.
God bless you. I welcome you. Let's have our seats.
Amen.
And please, somebody should look after the children. We don't want the noise coming over the recording space. Let's show ourselves as men and women who knows what the meaning of quality is. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so this morning, for the next few minutes, we want to celebrate everyone here today. And as much our God, we want to lift up His holy name.
Yes.
And want to listen to His word speak to us clearly today. And I pray today the Lord will speak to you. I pray today the hearing ears the Lord will give to you.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
So for title, we have leaders are human too. Leaders, they are also human beings. So we take our text from the first book of St. Paul to Timothy, his son in the faith, the second chapter, and we read the first 3 verses. The second book of Paul to Timothy, the first book of Timothy, chapter 2, verses 1, 2, and 3. I exhort, therefore, that first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings, and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God, our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
From this passage of the scriptures, it will seem to me that the admonition of Paul the Apostle to us is that if we want to live a life of peace, we want to live a life of joy, a life of perpetual victory, leadership that we have at every level and at every strata, they are important, and truly so. Leadership, be it at the home, at work, in the community, in the church, maybe your district, maybe regional leadership, and national leadership, to a long extent and to a big extent, can determine the faith of a people. Leadership at home, the father. Leadership at work, the boss. In the community, maybe the mayors, council leaders. In the church, the pastors, departmental heads. In regions, at the national level, their leadership acumen, their leadership ability, their leadership decisions to a long extent will directly, whether you agree or not, determine your own fate as well, at least on earth. So I always pity people who have the habit of crossing their leaders, be the husband, be the father, be the boss in the office, be the pastor, any leadership that you submit to by default, and you are in the habit of crossing them. God have mercy.
Amen.
In Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 16 to verse 17, Ecclesiastes chapter 10, 16 to 17, the Bible says, "Woe to thee, O land, when your king is a child, and your princes eat in the morning. Blessed art thou, O land, when your king is a son of nobles, and your princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness." Hallelujah.
Amen.
By implication, what that verse of the scripture is saying, that when your leaders don't know their left from their right, you are in trouble. When your husband, when your father, when your pastor, when your mayor, leader, or council leader, or your president or prime minister, or whatever you want to call it, your kings and your queens, if they do not know their left from their right, if they still are in cohabiting with a spirit of man rather than the spirit of God, you are in trouble. That's what it means. When they depend on the advice of sycophants around them, when they depend on the advice of men whose only interest is to look after his own interest. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We're in this country when the coronavirus was ill so much. We had an advisor to the prime minister who went out somewhere. He drove all the way. And he went somewhere else apparently to test his eyesight. But guess what? Some people did less, far less than that. And they were kicked out. But this man continues to stay in government. enemies land, you are in trouble. That's why we need to pray that God will only put men who will have his fear in positions of leadership. And like I said, it starts from the home. When your leaders, according to the text we read, Ecclesiastes 10, 16 to 17, when your leaders only understand how to live a riotous lifestyle, it's all about them. They enjoy, they don't care really, as long as all is well with them. I know a country where senators of the land and members of the houses, both the upper, they call it the upper and the lower legislative houses, they were going to buy vehicles for them, official vehicles. And there's a company in their country that manufacture cars. So they told them, go and buy from this company. They got angry. They said, no, we wanted Toyotas. By extension, financing and supporting the economy of another nation. Meanwhile, the economy of your country is suffering. People in that country have no jobs. People in that country does not even know, they don't even know where to get the next meal. Majority. But these are the people that are supposed to be leading the people, not looking after the people, living riotous lifestyles. And we come ourselves, they come outside and say they are leaders. Woe unto you, land, when your leaders, all they know is to do wrong things always. You know, some people are just naturally the habit of doing wrong things. And you think it is just them. No, because before they left home to get into those leadership positions, they had thought, I am going to do good. Hello? Hi. I was listening to one governor in a particular nation. Whether it was acting, whether it was real, but what I saw was that the guy was shedding tears. That he said he thought by the time he would have spent 4 years in government. In fact, the state that is leading will be one of the best. He never expected that even after 5 years in office, there will still be people living in thatched roofed buildings. And the guy was crying. He said, I was ready, I was prepared for this job. Brethren, some of them actually prayed to get there, to come and serve. But the moment they got there, the people that surrounded them blocked their eyes. They couldn't see again. That's why you need to pray for your leaders. Anywhere you are listening to me on the world, in the world today. Because your failure to pray for your leaders it will be the beginning of your problem, and it's not the cause. You see, in most cases as well, leadership is a direct reflection of the people that they lead. Anybody listening to me today? Yes. Leadership is a direct reflection of who the followers are. What do I mean? The leaders, they did not jump from heaven. They don't come down from heaven. They were raised from amongst you. They developed from amongst you. Therefore, when you look at your leaders, before you condemn your leaders, look at yourself. Again, I say the decision taken by your leaders will directly impact on your life. It will directly impact on your family. And may I blow your mind? It will directly impact on your future. If you don't agree with me, in 2 Samuel chapter 24, There's a story there of David, who got excited one day, King David. He got excited one day and he said, go and count Israel. Go and number them. I want to know the number. Even though the chief of army and everybody told him, sir, this is not right. Why do you want to say, that is what I want. Go and number them. And guess what? God got angry by the decision of the king. And by the end of everything, God said, listen, choose out of 3 things that I'm going to do to you. He chose the least. And the least cost Israel 70,000 men dead. Not for their sin. Not for their decisions. But the decision the king took in his palace. How many families do you think would have lost sons on those days? On that day rather, minimum of 70,000 families. How many families would have lost sons? I mean, how many women would have lost husbands? How many children would have lost fathers? How many people would have lost uncles? Would have lost nephews? How many? I'm sure it will go into the millions by the time we begin to extrapolate all of this. But the interesting thing is that nobody died in the family of David. Nobody. He did not lose any member of his household. Do you see why you need to pray for your leaders? In First Kings chapter 14, King Amaziah, he woke up one day and he looked at the king of Israel and said, come, I want to go to battle with you. For no reason, I want to go to battle with you. The guy said, I don't want to have a war with you. Just stay in your side. Leave me on my own side. The guy said, no, I must have this battle. At the end of the day, he went to battle, he took armies to the war front, and souls were lost. Okay, he himself became a slave to the man, but souls were lost for no reason whatsoever. In Acts chapter 2, Acts chapter 27, no, they were transporting Paul they were transporting Paul to Rome. And on the way, they got to a place and there was heavy wind and everything. And he said, guys, let us not leave this place. Let's wait for this season to pass because I don't think it's all right. No, the sailor said, no, don't worry, everything is okay. The decision of that one man led to the destruction of that ship. And if not for the grace of God that preserved everybody on that ship, the decision of that singular person, hundreds of souls would have perished. Beloved, you must always remember your leaders in prayers. You may think, well, what do I stand to gain? And my answer to you is that you stand to gain everything. Or what do I stand to lose? My answer again to you is that you stand to lose everything if you don't pray for your leaders. If you don't pray for your husband, there will be problem and trouble in your home every time. It's not a curse. It's just standard. You don't say, he's a foolish man. You know what? He will continue to be a foolish man. Somebody said, and this is, it's a bit funny, but then, the lady put a call through to our pastor and said, I was complaining, I don't understand why my baby is behaving like this. That pastor said, I said, baby, what do you expect a baby to do? He said, no, pastor, I'm talking about my husband. Why you call your husband a baby and he's behaving like a baby? So what do you say about him? What do you say about the boss in the office? What do you say about the people in leadership over your life? Your pastors, for instance, again. What do you say? Foolish man. Stupid woman. Do you know what? What goes around comes around. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2, Proverbs 29 verse 2 says, when the righteous rule, there is joy. But when the wicked rule, there is mourning, there is sorrow, there is failure. Pray for your husband and father. Pray for them, that God will touch them, that God will run their lives for them, that the spirit of wisdom and the spirit of counsel will come upon them. It can never be too late. Pray for them every day. Pray for them every hour. Why do I need to pray for my husband? Because he's the crown of your head. That's what the Bible says. Why do I need to pray for my father? Because he determines your future. Pray for your leaders. They are your leaders, and that is at the micro level. So you see, if your father is messing up around, people will look at you and they will say, that's your father. Am I saying something? But if your father is doing well, they will say, and even you will be saying, that is my father. And if your husband is doing fantastic, guess what? Men will respect you. People will show you respect. But when your husband you don't care about him, you don't pray for him, and therefore he does what he likes, and things continue to happen, people will say, even if you are trying to help people, they say, have you done your own house? Pray. You are here, amen to that. Amen. Pray for the boss at work. Pray for them not because you love them, but at the end of the day, you must love them. Maybe pray for them not because you like what they are doing, okay? However, their decision can lead to hardship for you, can lead to hardship for your family as well. Because if you're having problem with your boss in the office, I don't know how you'll be happy working. I don't know how you'll be happy even with members of your family. You can only pretend that you are happy, but you can't really be happy. So that's why you need to pray for them. That once they see you like this, they will favor you. That when it comes to you, the decision they will take will be that one that will align with the will of God. Pray for them, that they will not commit error that will cause you problem. I work in an organization where somebody has committed fraud, but because it's your boss, you countersign a voucher with him, you countersign a check with him, and guess what? They sack you. No, for no reason, no offense of yours. So pray for your leaders. Pray for your pastors. Why? Because if the man is putting his hand in evil things, your service to God may not even be recognized. Because if there's a brass heaven on the top of your leader, guess what? By the time you pray, you are praying towards that brass heaven. It will not open for you. So you need to pray for your pastors, so that your heaven may not be blocked, so that your service may be acceptable before the Lord. Pray for them. Pray for your community leaders, your council leaders, county leaders, or regional leaders. Pray that the Lord will not make them babies, so that they will know their left from their right. They will do the right thing at all times. They will not be drunkards. They will not be power drunks. They will not wake up in the morning and all they do is to drink and enjoy their lives as if all we have to do is to live, eat, drink, and die. There was a maximum leader in the country that I know some years ago. And we were told that this man, all he does is just drink. He will wake up in the night, he will drink till like 3 a.m. in the morning. And he will ask his friend, are we still in control? Now he say, we are still in control. Then they continue drinking. Pray that the Lord will not give you such leaders. Because what they do is that there won't be any focus. So every of your effort will only come to zero. And we see very soon. National leaders, pray for them as well. For presidents, for prime ministers, for kings and for queens of your land. Pray that they may lead in the fear of the Lord. That they may lead according to the will of Jesus. That every idolatry of whatever kind will be taken away from their lives. And pray that they will not lead you into the wrath of God. We need to pray for them. I actually would like to remind us that these people, men and women in leadership, they are just a man or a woman like yourself. They are not special in any way. Therefore, they are not infallible. They can commit error of judgment, which can be fatal to every member of that nation. Just one error of judgment. They also have their personal challenges as well. I remember the story in 1 Samuel chapter 30, when David came back to Ziklag and his men, and Ziklag was already run over by the enemy. His own families were taken away as well. They all had sorrow of heart. When you begin to look at it later, the Bible said those men decided, they gathered together, they wanted to stone him to death. Why? He had his own problem, the same problem with you. He had the same problem. But they don't care about his problem. They only care about their own problem. So you're going to pray that, Lord, give us men like David who will encourage themselves even in the midst of crisis. That is who a leader is. Even when there are challenges, Lord, the leaders you are going to give us, or the leaders you have put in place already, Lord, give them the strength and the character of David, who will encourage themselves, even when everybody around him are crying and they have lost focus. Remember, they do not have answer to all the questions that you have, for they are human beings as well. In 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 27, 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 27, the Bible records the story of the king of Samaria, who was walking, and the woman said, "King, come and help me." There was famine in the land, hunger in the land. The woman cried to him, "King, come and help me." The king looked at her and said, "Woman, if God cannot help you, who am I to help you?" They are limited as well, the leaders. That's why we need to pray for them, that God will help them. For if God doesn't help them, we cannot be helped. So they need your help in prayer. Amen? Amen. They need your help in prayers. Don't think he's the CEO, he knows what to do. It's a lie, he doesn't know what to do. You know, when I used to be just a staff of an organization that I used to work with, I thought my managers know everything. But when I got to that position, I realized that most of the time you have to improvise. There's no guidelines to follow. You just have to bring in all your experiences and your personality to bear on things. It's your decision, and that decision can cost the organization a lot, can cost you your job, can cost those people their job. So you need to pray, Lord, this is my leader, the one you are giving to me. Help him at all times. This is my husband, Lord, please help him at all times. It is not every time that a man is not afraid. It's just that he won't show it. There are many times the man goes to the corner and is crying. But you come to him and the guy comes and he behaves as if he has all the answer. He does not. You need to pray for him. It is not every time that your pastor knows what to do. Hello, somebody. It is not every time. But he comes to you and tells you, in the name of Jesus, I know the Lord will do it. The guy is afraid, piecing his trousers. But you don't know. That's why you need to pray for him. Then he got to a point that he doesn't know what to do again. He began to cry. But suddenly, the spirit of leadership came upon him. And he said, okay, let's ask God for what to do. May the Lord give us such leaders in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Why should I pray for my leaders? Because number one, God says you have to pray for them. Because it's acceptable to him for us to pray for our leaders. God commands it. Number two, the success and the joy, the peace and breakthrough of your family depends on it. If your leaders get it right, guess what? You will get it right. If things work in the life of your leader, it certainly, almost certainly, will work in the position that God put them. And when their lives begin to work and the position begins to work, it begins to affect you positively as well. You know, again, your future depends on you praying for your leaders, because when you pray for them, God answers your prayer, and he uses them and he turns their life around in such a way that even you will benefit. I'll give you a quick example. Compare the West, they call it the West, the Western world. Compare it to Africa. The only difference between the West and Africa is decisions. Leadership decision. Most African countries, and I say this with absolute confidence, most African countries are way better financially than most Western countries. But decisions, what we do with your money. Whereas in the West, if you steal 10 pounds, you'll be sent to jail. If you steal 100 million in Africa, you'll be celebrated. They give you chieftaincy title. Decisions, leadership decisions. What was that country that got independence around the same time with some African countries that we know, which we will mention this morning? And that other country, they are part of what they call the Asian Tigers now, manufacturing things. In fact, some of them, they took seedlings of agricultural produce from Africa to those countries. And today, those countries, they are doing well. But the same Africa where they brought those things from, what are they doing? Nothing. Leadership decision. And may I say to you, the reason why there are why you keep having people in Africa trying to cross the ocean on flotillas, risking their lives, dying in their thousands on the ocean, is because of decisions taken by leaders in Africa. We have no basis. Africans have no basis to come to Europe, to go to America. What for? Apart from holidays. But because the leaders will take the right decisions. How can just one person, for heaven's sake, steal billions upon billions of dollars? The money that we need to just use to develop the nation, it's not your money, but they keep stealing it. Decisions of your leaders can affect you. In the United Kingdom, one of the things we are proud of is the NHS. Somebody took that decision. Is somebody listening this morning? It was decision of the people. The other day, NHS was celebrating 72 years. Am I correct? 72 years. I dare say in those days, the United Kingdom was submitted completely to Jesus. So God helped them to take right decisions. They were praying. It was a praying nation. I guess one of the most expensive things you can ask anybody to do in Africa is, even in America, is healthcare. Healthcare. But in the United Kingdom, you just stroll into the hospital, you get treated for anything. FOC, like they say, free of charge. Why? Because somebody sometime in the past took a decision. And that's why I said, decision taken by your leaders will affect your tomorrow. Pray that the Lord will use your leaders for you. Lord, the people you have put in position, please use them to benefit my life and to benefit my family. And to benefit every part of the world, of this nation. Recently, maybe not too recently, and there was a crisis, you know, when there was a crisis in the world, one of the things that the leadership of those days did was to come and say, okay, because we want to jumpstart the economy, we want people to build houses. So government will lend money for you to buy a house. They call it help to buy. Some people would never have gotten to the property ladder. They would never have gotten to the property ladder if not for help to buy. Am I making sense? Now they say, okay, because there's problem, we need to do something else. If you buy a house now, if it's under 500,000, don't pay stamp duty. Some people will use this opportunity to get to the property ladder again. That is God touching the heart of the leaders, using them for you. So you need to keep praying, my brother. We need to pray for them at all times, all our leaders. I'm just using this as an example. We pray that the Lord will cause them to captain this ship of their responsibility in accordance with the will of God. Of course, we need to pray for them that God will appoint men that are after his own heart to be around them. Men that God himself selects, let them be around them. That God will grant them wisdom to do the right thing always. Brethren, may I suggest to you that if you have not been praying for your leaders, and as like I said, from your right from your home, then you are an important part of their suboptimal leadership. If you have not been praying for them, your husband, your father, your parents, your boss at work, your pastor, the prime minister, and all of them, the mayors and the council leaders, if you have not been praying for them before today, I charge you today that you are one of the people that have not made their leadership a complete success. Let me round up because of time. Let me round up. Today I'm just calling you to responsibility, people of God. And that's what God has called us into. Pray for your leaders. You know, Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Galatians 6 and verse 7 says that what you sow, you are going to reap. Now the question is, what are you sowing into the lives of your leaders? It is impossible for you to be cursing them and somehow expect them to be anything otherwise. Because it's what you speak into their life that they become. You cannot say, that one will die. And you think his brain will function. Death is not until you die and you are buried. You cannot say that man, he's a failure, he will continue to fail. And you are right, a member of the nation. This failure will affect you directly. You cannot be hating your leaders and somehow expect them to love you. It doesn't work that way. If you sow hatred into their lives, you will only reap hatred from their lives. If you sow love into their lives, you will reap love from their lives. What are you sowing into the lives of your leaders? What are you sowing? You cannot be pulling them down and somehow expect yourself to be promoted. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You want promotion? Pray for the promotion of your leaders. Because it is only when they are promoted there will be vacancy. Or God may decide to create a position for you as well. But what you pray, what you deposit to their lives, the same God will deposit into your life. Beloved, pray for your leaders. Every leader in your life. And as you do that, I promise you that you will see God transform them to becoming your servants. When I say your servants, I mean people that serve you, because leaders are called to service. So as you begin to pray for them from today, the Lord will begin to turn them to men and women who will serve you and who will do the will of God in your life.